Guys, beautiful morning right here at the farm, and as usual we are consistently having small tiny changes that over time actually become very significant and change the general outlook of the farm and change the progress of the farm and actually increase how much money we can be making around. You guys can see the house that I live in right here, and you can see how beautifully the compound has actually turned out. I think I showed you guys when we were, still planting the grass. I probably did, yeah? So you can see our beautiful garden. There's a time back when we were actually still making it, but look at how nice it has turned out with the grass. Our trees are growing. Look at our gazebo. And the newest addition that's happening right now is actually an outdoor kitchen, yeah, which is actually just going to be right next to the gazebo. You guys can see it. So the guys started construction of it yesterday, and the construction is still ongoing. Today is a Sunday, but they're going to come and do some work today. So it's going to turn out very beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful. The work has just started, and it's going to be slow, not as fast as I would want it to be, because I have other expenses and other things that I'm going to be, spending on. Actually, I'm going to be sharing that with you because they're going to be going right there at the moment. But yeah, it's actually going to turn out really nice. When it's done, you guys will see it. And the main reason I'm actually doing an outdoor kitchen is because, as you guys might actually see, my house is quite small. Yeah, it's quite small. So what that means is that it barely has a kitchen. It has what they call a kitchenette inside, which is really tiny, but nothing significant. Right here on the farm, I occasionally get a few guests coming over to visit me, not to visit the farm. Yeah, I don't allow visitors for the farm, but people occasionally come to visit me on the farm. And my house is on the farm, so they get in and then just come to my place without having to go to the farm. And what that means is that sometimes, I have to cook for them or stuff like that, and we need a space, like a proper kitchen, which you can utilize. So that's going to be the actual kitchen. That's going to be right here, and it's going to look really nice. Now guys, it was only sometime in 2020, late 2020, that I acquired this land. It was my very first piece of land that I personally owned, and it was 2 acres. I paid for 2 acres, and then I believe in early 2023, we built our very first chicken house on this land, and a staff house. This was actually the staff house. It's actually quite overdue. We need to plaster this house, yeah? This house, because it holds the record for being like the oldest structure. This and the very first chicken house, they hold the record for being the oldest structures on here. And look at how it still looks. No. This doesn't look nice. So we're going to have to plaster it very soon. I'm going to, work on ensuring that it's plastered very soon. So the inside where the guys actually sleep is properly plastered. So really, it's just the outside, yeah, the general outlook of the outside. And I mean, I personally try to cut as much costs as possible. So I try to cut the costs, but I think it's now due time that we actually work on the plastering, so the guys do have a better place to sleep. You guys can see our trailer. This is a trailer that I bought recently, and it's helping us a lot on the farm. You guys can already see the inside of it. Yeah, it helps us to carry sand, cement, carry hay, carry manure and things like that. Yeah, so I just attach it to my pickup truck and we utilize it. Here is a mixer that we're going to be utilizing, for example, while pouring the concrete floor on my new area outside there. And then something else that I actually do love a lot is pumpkins. Yeah, so you guys can see we have quite a number of pumpkins. Yeah, and these are pumpkins that we got from our garden. You guys can see them, yeah? So I planted pumpkins, I believe sometime earlier this year, and take a look at what they look like. And they actually taste quite nice, yeah? It's rare to find pumpkins that actually taste nice, but these do taste nice. So I'm really glad. I'm going to be taking them to the city for the kids and their family to enjoy. So guys, earlier on, when I started the farm, I started with just 2 acres. And these 2 acres I bought from an uncle of mine, yeah, in 2020. After that, I acquired, actually didn't acquire, yeah? I had an interesting experience where I wanted to buy another section of the land that leads just next to the road. It was about 0.8 of an acre from the very same uncle, but then he refused to sell it to me. And then after that, someone else bought it. And then luckily enough, the person who bought it had always wanted to buy a particular piece of land from my dad. but my dad had refused to sell it to him. So what they did is that they exchanged, yeah? They exchanged this section for the other section that the person wanted to buy. And after the exchange, my dad actually gave me this piece of land, the 0.8 of an acre. So I actually didn't buy it, yeah? My dad gave it to me. He's like, well, that is your portion. Very interesting, yeah? So he actually gave me 0.8 of an acre. So now the total land became 2.8 acres. And then with time, then I started like building stuff on the land. I started building like more chicken houses. You guys can see the chicken houses right here, yeah? So the farthest house there was the very first house. This was the second. And one there was the third. This was the fourth poultry house. You guys can see some wood shavings that we have. So once in a while, we get the litter out from the poultry houses, yeah? We get it out and then we have to replace it, especially from the top sections, because the top sections get really heavy, yeah? They are supported using wood, so we don't want them to get heavy. So we have to keep slowly by slowly getting the litter, which has become manure, out occasionally. And when we get it out, we use it in our gardens. So you guys can see that I have a banana plantation right here. So we use it as manure for the banana plantations, for example. Then, again, you guys can see my house right there at the bottom, right next to the poultry houses. The plan for that house was quite interesting. So then we get the manure and we place it in here. So you guys can see our alfalfa, yeah? This alfalfa should be getting close to, I mean, it's not flowering. It's quite interesting that it's not flowering yet, yeah? Because I think it's tall and almost at the point of being harvested, but it's not yet flowering. So that means it still has more potential for growth. So we're not going to touch it until it has started flowering, yeah? So maybe in the next week or so, it's going to start flowering, and then we shall cut it. So this is alfalfa that we use to feed our goats and sheep. And so this alfalfa and that poultry house that you guys see there, which is the most isolated poultry house, are on about 1.3 acres. So if you put it together with this 2.8 acres, it makes it about 4 acres that I do have right here. So very interestingly, in such a short spell of time, from like late 2020 until now, 2025, well, it's late 2025, so 5 years, I've actually been able to acquire myself 4 acres, like 4 acres together on which the farm is standing, yeah? Isn't that impressive, guys? Isn't that impressive? But now, if you think that's impressive, then I'm going to show you what's even more impressive, because we are expanding even further, yeah? Now, I'll tell you something I find strange that people consistently tell me. People will consistently suggest to me that I buy land in the city, or I buy land like on the highways, yeah, that I can like utilize as commercial land. People call it like, you know, something for a commercial building or something like that. Like, you've now got quite an amount of like what you'd consider rural land, because this is ideally what someone considers rural land. It's farmland, yeah. So it's not like in a city. We have a town close by, but it's not really like in the town. You guys can see that all around me in all directions is just gardens, yeah? So it's not like so expensive. Now it's expensive, not as cheap as you would imagine, because currently we'll pay over about $10,000 per acre. If someone wants to buy an acre right here, yeah? Okay, so it's actually not cheap in terms of, you know, the equivalent in Ugandan shillings. So it's actually not cheap. But then it's nothing close to how much I would have to pay if I wanted to get land like in the city. So people keep telling me that, you know, you need to buy land in the city or buy commercial land by the road. And I'm thinking to myself, no, I don't, yeah? So people find it interesting that I keep buying more farmland. You'd consider it farmland, yeah? That I keep buying more farmland and not buying like more commercial land, yeah? More land in the city or something like that. And I keep thinking to myself, well, why would I buy that? Because I'll give you a quick example. If I'm to buy land, for example, where I live in the city, in the capital, where I live, if I'm to buy land there for a small plot, which is like 1/8 of an acre, I would probably buy like 6 acres where I am right now. And then what am I going to use the 1/4 of an acre? Put a family home? Why? Like, yeah, I'm already renting, yeah, so I can rent over there, and it's not too expensive for me to rent there. I'm not going to live there forever. I would 100% prefer to live on the farm. So when the kids grow up and maybe they're in boarding school, then I can move over and fully live on the farm. No need to live like in the city center, because I don't enjoy it. I don't love it. The main reason I live there is because the kids need to go to school, and that's where the best schools are at. So it's not like I'm interested in living there forever, yeah? And then I'm not going to be making any money out of it. Whilst right here on the farm, when I buy farmland, it's farmland that I'm actually going to utilize. So it'll be like, you know, buy commercial land in terms of like where you can put like buildings, commercial buildings. I'm like, okay, that's a good idea, but it's not something that I'm interested in. I don't want to, you know, my goal is not real estate. Yeah, so now what? Just buy the land and it's over there. So I would rather move over here and buy farmland. So right here again, this is the section that was like extended. Yeah, the one that I bought from the person, and we extended it on my land. You guys can see our new gate. So our new gate is literally almost done. This is the gate itself. We're going to be welding it and placing it right here. So tomorrow they're going to come and fit it. Yeah, and then besides that, you guys can see some sand that we brought in, we are utilizing to build. Yeah, and then when we move right here, I have another piece of land, a little bit more than a quarter of an acre right here. Yeah, so here we've planted chloris, Guyana here. Yeah, so we planted chloris. The guys should have baled it, but now, you know, we're having a bit of rain falling in it. I think they cut some of it so high, but they didn't cut it well. I don't know. That's the problem of having to use hands to cut. So very soon we're going to place manure inside here. Yeah, so today or tomorrow we're going to be placing manure inside here. You guys can see where all this grass is. Yeah, so it's just next to the farm right here, just outside the farm. We're going to be placing manure here because the lower section did really well because it did have manure, but this upper area didn't do so well. I think it had a bit less manure. So we are now going to be placing more manure inside here, and it's going to work very beautifully for us. Now, in addition to what we already have, which now makes it about 4.5 acres almost, yeah, next week I'm going to be acquiring about half of an acre. Actually, I already have a little bit more right here. Yeah, so I have about 0.3 of an acre over here, moving over to the top. I'm going to go over there and show you guys. Yeah, and you'll keep asking me that, doctor, where do you get all this money from? How do you get money to just keep buying land and buying land and buying land? Yeah, so this land in between is not like my land, it belongs to someone else. And I think they're going to be doing like some form of, I don't know what they're going to be doing, because I see they have dug holes around. I don't know what they're going to be planting here. Yeah, it's going to be like some form of serious agriculture. Then here too, you can see right next to that. So again, you guys can see the farm right there at the bottom. You can see my water tanks. Yeah, so those water tanks are like that at the top of the farm. And then there's that green piece is my land right there, just outside it. Then this is someone else's. And then this is also another person who is growing like loads and loads of bananas right here, trying to do, you know, commercial banana farming. And guys, as you might already know, me personally, growing crops is not like my thing. I do grow some crops, but the goal is not growing crops. So as you guys can see, I'm growing quite an amount of pasture, but I'm not growing pasture for the purpose of making money from the pasture. I'm growing the pasture for the purpose of creating feed that I can feed to the goats. Because another thing that I have realized is that in the area where I am, in this location, goats are not so common. Getting like loads and loads of goats is not common, yet people want to eat goat's meat. So I've noticed that if I can actually like grow loads of goats around here and feed them really well and get them to big numbers, I can actually make a lot of money here without even having to figure out how to like barbecue them myself or, you know, create some form of business around them myself. Yeah. So for that reason, I don't really like growing crops. I've just said to focus on the animals, yeah? And by focusing on animals, I'm going to be doing goats and the chickens myself. That's what I'm focusing on. So again, doctor, where do you get all this money from? I mean, it's just the profit from the farm. I know it's crazy to believe, but it's the honest truth. It's the profit from the farm. Personally, I barely take any money out of the farm. I don't. Literally everything that comes from the farm either goes back into expanding the farm or like buying land and things like this. Because I have other things that can support me, the things that can support me and my family. I'm not very high maintenance. As you guys can see, you've already seen the kind of house that I live in. In the city where I do live, we actually live in a rented house, so I don't need to like buy expensive land and build a big house or something like that. I don't need all that. I'm not like super high maintenance. I don't have a television in my house. I don't have like loads of fancy stuff. Yeah, so I can have all those things, but I don't need them. Yeah, and I don't want them. Yeah, so I'm not like a very high maintenance kind of person. No, completely not. So because of that, I can then concentrate most of my effort, and literally I would say all my effort, on growing the farm. Yeah, that's why I can concentrate on my effort. So I think right here, I don't know, yeah, it should be right here. Yeah, so right here I actually do have a strip of land in here. Yeah, I have a strip of land here. Yeah, a little bit in the bush. I have a strip of land. So again, it's not far away from where I am at the moment. Yeah, this measures about 90 meters by 15 meters, a little bit over a quarter of an acre. And I've agreed with the person that we're going to be doing another half acre. Yeah, because the same person is then going to sell to me. So we're going to extend, because we've already agreed. I've actually already given him a small deposit. Yeah, so we're going to have like another half acre. You guys can see the area. This is the land where you see the sweet potatoes. So the section that I have is this bushy area, also with some of these sweet potatoes right here. And now there is these sweet potatoes. Yeah, so if we can put it together and it becomes like half an acre, with this half acre I could then plant more alfalfa. Yeah, so I want to plant more alfalfa, fence it just like I fenced the other land with barbed wire. Yeah, I have land somewhere that I fenced with barbed wire. So fence it with barbed wire, and then we can put alfalfa right here, and then we can utilize this alfalfa for the goats and sheep. Yeah, and we're going to be growing it right here. Again, it's not far away. You guys saw me walking. Yeah, you can see the banana plantation. It's right here, and then beyond it, you would see the farm. In fact, if the banana plantation wasn't here, you would see the tanks. But because of the banana plantation, you can't see the tanks. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, we're going to put alfalfa right here. So ideally, if we manage to acquire this, then I'll have about 0.8 of an acre in this place. Yeah, if we put it together, it will be about 0.8, like these two portions put together. So yes, guys, that's how we are slowly expanding. That's how we are slowly growing the farm. And I know it does sound crazy just to think that 7 years ago, because 2018 is when I started working as a doctor. 2018 is when I personally got done with my medical internship. So that's when I got done with my medical training. Graduated 2017, but got done with my medical training in 2018 because of the internship. So if you just look back and you're thinking to yourself, whoa, that's really crazy growth in just 7 years. I keep thinking to myself, if I've been able to do this in 7 years, what the hell am I going to do by the time I'm 40? Because I'm now 33. Yeah, so in the next 7 years until I'm 40, I mean, the growth is going to be really, really crazy and impressive, very impressive. Yeah, but again, right now I don't have plans of buying like land in the city. Most of my focus again is still on farmland, because I'm a farmer, guys. When people ask me that, what's your profession? Oh, you know, what do you do? I tell them I'm a farmer. They're like, oh, you're a doctor. I'm like, no, I'm not a doctor anymore. I'm a farmer. Yeah, and it's crazy. People find it weird that someone would identify themselves as a farmer, but I love it. I love being a farmer. I find it beautiful and I enjoy it. Yeah, so if you're outside there and you want to start a poultry farm, then I've made a beautiful video. I'll leave it in the description of this video of how you can actually start a poultry farm. A step-by-step process in which you can start a poultry farm. Check it out. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, smash the notification bell. Catch you very soon with another one. Lots of love. Bye-bye.